Hello. Alright. So, I want to do sort of a briefing of my book here, Falling, which I made from April 5th of 2020 to September 6th of 2020. So it all sort of stemmed from this first page. I had gotten a new box of markers and just wanted to kind of test them out, and I didn't really have the idea to make a whole book out of it, but that's what it turned into after a while. So this first page here, called Mind Flowers Falling, is just some crazy guy with the striped shirt. And it's supposed to look like he's falling, which really doesn't look like he's falling that much. It looks like he's just standing there, screaming, with flowers growing out of his head. So that's the first page, and we'll go from here. You know, I've never really done anything like this before this. I'm on to my third book as of right now, and I've kind of come to the conclusion that I kind of want to make some sort of video to explain this so that people can actually have an understanding of this, and I can go a little bit deeper for people that might not understand what the fuck I'm talking about, you know what I mean? Because I feel like a lot of this stuff it's really personal, and it's really deep, some of it, and some of it's just surface level stuff, so I feel like even I have a hard time understanding little bits of it every once in a while, but I've got a pretty good understanding of all of it because I'm the one who created it, of course. So let's move on, shall we? The second page is just a simple abstract. This is going to be kind of hard to show you guys over my shoulder, but yeah, I got Making Something of a Lost Mind is what this page is called. Let's go through. I'll just kind of skim through. Some of them are just simple, you know, they speak for themselves. I really don't have to explain a lot of them, but there's a few, especially once I get to my third book, which I'm not going to do in this video, but it sort of gets more wordy. There's more words. This one doesn't have as many words, but there's some things I need to kind of explain as we go. This one's just called Nothing. Self-explanatory, isn't it? Dosed Ghost. That rhymes. What is this one called? See, I got my table of contents here. It's called Fool's Gold. Yeah, get a grip on yourself. Get a grip on Fool's Gold. See, this is where I'm talking about. Like, I don't exactly remember where I was at the time, but it's kind of more of like a diary of like, that's kind of where I was at the time, and I was kind of capturing that feeling or that idea, and so that's just kind of what I got on the page, and I felt apparently like a factory of satisfaction, and a lot of sentimental values were shed here, and when will I stop? When will you stop talking? Why are you talking? Why so sad? I don't know. I have no idea where I was at that time, but hey, we're shedding light. This one I can't explain. I was watching a Joe Rogan podcast, of course, with the one with Elon Musk, and he was talking about save state, and that just really hit me particularly deep, because I know I have a lot of memories, and there's days in my life where I could absolutely relive them many, many times over, and I would enjoy that so much. So I just got to thinking about that and thought that that would really actually not be that good of a thing, because it would take away from where we are now, and it would take away from the future, I think, and we would waste a lot of days just reliving the same day over and over again. Even if it is good, I still feel like that's not good, because you want to keep continuing to live and reinvent your days and live your full life rather than just one day over and over again, you know. But I just thought it was really, really interesting of a thing to bring up, and where our world is coming to, you know, and where it really is coming to, actually, you know. A lot of art is kind of just shot in the dark into the future. I have no idea where my life is going to end up, if I'm going to be known, if nobody's going to know me, if my stuff's going to be worth something someday. I don't know. I'd like to think so, but I have no idea. Maybe it'll end up in a museum. Maybe it'll get thrown away. I really hope it doesn't, but, I'm putting this out there so that hopefully somebody will understand, I feel like I got something here, but it's up to you. I don't know. But yeah, this one's called Paranoid Android Robot Ghosts. Remember now, later. I'm out of touch and obsolete. I'm not as wrong as I used to be. Now this page is called Together Within, which I'm pissed because I totally did a typo there. I'm so mad because it was just such a cool, like, flowy thing that I did with two different markers that I had. And it's kind of just about DNA and about, we're all one together within ourselves, whether we realize it or not. We are all one. We all come sort of from the same earth, and we're all humans. We all think and we all have a consciousness, and so I think there's something to be said there as far as that goes. And we're together within. And I think it also is a lot of art is kind of death, in a way, and not to be dark, but we're together within ourselves, I think, and it shows. It was aliens. Aliens are just future humans. Yeah, that was another one where it was like a podcast of, like, I think Joe Rogan said, like, what if humans are just like or aliens are just future humans, and we're supposed to evolve into humans, or we're supposed to evolve into aliens, actually, beyond this planet, and our DNA was created by them, and we're together within from them, and that's why we were created. That's where we truly come from. But it's just a mystery. Nobody really knows, and does anybody really have a grip on that? I don't know. But I'd like to get some sleep. So this one's called REM. Good band, by the way. This one is called What's Happening. Searching the mind for something to find. See, here's where it gets kind of rambly again, too. This one's it's about me being a stranger to people. And, people always tell me, like, oh, don't be a stranger. And it's like, I get it, but that kind of makes me feel upset because, like, I'm just living my life. Yeah, I'm getting stranger to you, but I'm always going to be a stranger. So it's kind of accepting that and finding some sort of positivity out of that. And it sucks growing up because you have to stay away from people and you have to do your own thing. You can't spend all your time with everybody all the time, even though you could, and it would be you'd really enjoy it, but then you'd miss out on so many other things too. You have to live your life to the fullest, and to do that, fortunately, you have to let go of things and be a stranger to certain people, and you can't spend all your time with certain people all the time. You can't just spend time with one friend and ignore another, and you can't. And it's the same thing, I think, for yourself as well. You can't spend all your time with your friends. You got to spend some time with yourself as well, I think. So that's kind of what this is about. And I think there's some sort of underlying anger with, like, relationships I've had in the past and how they didn't work out very well. And I write down here, why are you mad? And what is meant to be? Your self-image is overrated. Your self-image is better. Why do you need so much love and chaotic inner peace and fishing for yourself? Let the water clear, but stand up and breathe before it happens. Lost it from the start. The attention zone. Yeah, it's about being in the friend zone. Yeah, that shit sucks. Let's just say that. Where do you grow from here? Yeah, there's something to be said. I'm going to be brave here for a second and talk about the friend zone. I've been put there for many, many years, and I think it's really terrible. It's fine when it's, you know, understood, but to a certain degree, it's not understood. And I think what I'm trying to say here is that if somebody really, really likes you and you don't love them back, you need to tell them so that they don't waste so much of their life on you. I've spent years wasting my time. I can't have that back now, and it's not my fault. It's not my fault. It's that person's fault for not really giving me closure. But that being said, you know what I'm saying. Obviously, there's some relationships where there is no closure, and there doesn't need to be. And I think that's something that's really, really hard to get through when you're so young and you think that person, you have such a strong feeling of love for that person, but they don't really feel it back. It's frustrating. That's something I had a really hard time getting through and letting go of, and just in my personal life. I mean, I don't know if that really translates to anybody else's life, and if you're gonna be upset with me about that, but that's how I truly feel, and take it as you will. Expect nothing in return, and you will never be disappointed. I thought you'd never ask. See, this one's called Feelings Change. Yeah, feelings do change. The ups and downs of now, inorganic or organic thoughts, wisdom passed on, positive heartbreak, all my love and support. Why is healing so painful? You see, and it's the same thing I was just talking about. It plays off of that as well, I think, and you get to a certain point where you get so sad that you don't get the love back from that person anymore, or ever, and your feelings can change whether you realize it or not. And I think that was kind of what I was going through at the time. Was I had a really hard time changing my feelings about this certain person, and it was just finally that moment where I just kind of accepted the fact that it wasn't going to be, and I finally moved on from it. And I think I didn't fully move on, honestly, because I did do more art about that. It unfolded a little bit more in my next couple books, I think, and I sort of understood what I was going through personally and why I was having these feelings and things. But it was all for a reason. I think it all ended up well, I think. And then this next one, it's about moving on, but then loving someone else too. It's like, maybe at that particular time you might have a really hard time thinking that there's going to be anybody better than that person, but that's not necessarily a good way of looking at it. And so this was my time of moving on. I was talking to a girl which I don't even talk to anymore, actually, but where do we go? Wait, I actually didn't even meet this girl, actually, now that I think about it. It was just a friend of a friend, but yeah, this kind of stemmed from that, and she gave me antisocial butterflies, and I just thought this is a really nice page. A lot of people really like that page. It's a good feeling of, social butterflies and meeting new people and getting yourself back out there. It's hard to do sometimes when you build your life around somebody. It's really difficult to do when it doesn't work out. It's hard shit to get through. I know it firsthand. I've been through it. Been through that ringer multiple times. I know. Here's the Golden Fool. It's my least favorite page. He knows. And this one, without question, do it to experience intuition. That one's kind of self-explanatory too. It speaks for itself. It's just about intuition and finding your way of life and finding the things that you do and having intuition in something, where you get to a point where people don't have to tell you what to do anymore. You can just do things because you understand how to do them. And that's what that's about. A few too many. You know, you have a few at first, and now it's many. That's just kind of an art thing, but it's about alcohol straight up and getting drunk. You know, at first it's like, oh, I'll have one beer. You know, 2, 3, 4, 5. You know, it just keeps going. And honestly, it's kind of a double entendre with art too. It's like, oh, I'm just gonna do that first page. I'll do a couple more pages, and now it's a whole book. Now I'm doing like multiple books. And it grows. Is it worth trying? I'm addicted to shame. I'm uneasy. I'm impersonal. I'm mad at myself. Hiking the great indoors again. It was nice to meet you. Hey, stranger. Is it worth trying? Never is as long as forever. You won't know it until you can't go back. See, I was just in a really depressive state of mind, I think. I was putting a ton of pressure on myself, and I can see it now that it's like, what the fuck are you thinking, man? Like, get your shit together, dude. And here we are again. This one's called Thinking Outside the Box, and this one I did right the day before I was running an 800 meter time trial, and I was going to go and attempt to break 2 on my own with, I had a whole sort of season behind me, and I was just going to send one and just see if I could do it. And I ran terribly. I ran a 2:12. It was not even close. I don't know why I thought I could even run a sub 2, let alone, what? Not even in the fucking ballpark, man. And I think a lot of it had to do with the fact I was just putting a shitload of pressure on myself to do something that I couldn't do, that I wasn't really ready to do. And I was kind of forcing myself to be ready for that, and I didn't really see it at the time, but now that's kind of how I interpret it. And I had a lot of good insight and things and good thoughts, I think, but it just wasn't really coming together. I think one of the main ones here is sharpening the spear. It's just the thought of you don't want to sharpen the spear too much too quickly. You want to really just ease away at it, because if you just chomp at the bit, you just ruined your tip there. It's not going to be very sharp, it's not going to be very effective, and you're not going to really accomplish much with that, and you're not really going to get very far. You know what I mean? That's just sort of what that's about. And that was where I was at that moment in time. This was May 15th of 2020, so all divisible by 5s, which 2020 was a year where I was really doing a lot of number dates and things like that, where it was really aesthetic, where it was oh, February 2nd of 2020, it's a bunch of 2s, so I was really trying to do a lot of stuff like that, and I was finding little niches like that, where it's all the numbers are divisible by 5, or they're all divisible by 3 or something, or I don't know, little stuff like that. I was trying to do things like that, and here we are. Capabilities. I am capable of doing abstract art. Yes, I am. Funny how I'm capable of laughing at myself. Yeah, isn't that funny? I have a constant desire to maintain this current situation, don't I? I don't know why I would, because it wasn't a very good situation to begin with. And, yeah, speaking of, do you love me? Yeah, this is just another girl, I met on Tinder that didn't really work out. I talked to her for a little while, it was cool, we hit it off pretty good, but I didn't love her. I was just phased by her, so this page is called Phased by You. I go through a lot of phases, especially musically. I think I find and discover artists, and I really dig through their stuff and really try to understand them and what they were trying to say, and I think they have really good points of view, and then there's a lot of artists like that I'll go month by month and have phases. I think, where am I at with my current phase? I would say my current phase is kind of Pantera, I think, was my latest phase. I don't know. Right now, I don't really have much of a phase. It's kind of like a metal phase, sort of. I'm just kind of diving into metal a little bit lately. Whereas this last year, I was really diving deep into Alice in Chains. That was probably my biggest phase to date. I've gone through phases with Nirvana, the Beatles, Pink Floyd, Led Zeppelin, Radiohead, Ween. Ween is a huge one. Red Hot Chili Peppers, another very, very spicy one. That I've been very, very phased by. You can have multiple favorite artists. You can have multiple favorites, I think. And I think that's totally healthy. And I think that's totally okay. But I think there's certain people out there that try to have some sort of loyalty to that. And I think loyalty is very, very good. I'm completely loyal to all my favorite bands. I love all of them very much. But I don't really think you need to just stick to one genre or one band. You can only listen to their music. Like, that's such poppy. That's stupid. Why would you not be influenced by other people, Why would you not want to grow and see other people's perspectives? Because there's reasons why they're saying these things, because it's important information that they want to get out there, And so, yeah, that's what I have to say about phases. And actually, this one, speaking of Alice in Chains, this one actually has an Alice in Chains reference in it, which applies even today. It's from the song Love Hate Love. Is just a little snippet of it. You Should Have Run. And there was a lot of days lately where I just felt bad about myself, where I should have run. And that girl that I was referring to, she was a runner, and I think a lot of my running was for her, and that was why I was so consistent all the time, because that's how much I loved her. I was consistent every single day. But as I grew older, I realized she didn't love me back at all. And so I think I kind of lost some of my running with that. It just kind of seemed pointless to me. It was like, what am I doing this for? Really, it's, I'm doing this for myself, and I am maintaining my health, but I've kind of come to a point now where it's not as important to me, There's more important things to me nowadays, and she's not one of them anymore. But I'm +1 from now on. You leave no gap sitting on my lap. You should have run. And see, that was actually kind of, I don't remember. I think I was like at Nate's house, and I think Skylar was sitting on my lap like while I was doing this page or something like that. Or I don't know. I don't fucking know what the hell I'm thinking about half the times. Moving on. What charade? What are you talking about? Isn't it obvious that I love you? Oh, it's not obvious? Oh, you don't love me? Okay. Alright. Let's see. Moving on. Procrastination. Alright. Abandoned shelter. Cool desert. Summer swelter. Years between me and you. Under the stars and under the weather. Oh, here's a poem I can read to you guys. I'm going to end it after this one. I'm going to restart another video after this one. I'm going to read this poem here quick. Over the moon is what this is called. Floating in space, dead is erased. You can't be replaced. There's no time to waste. Your love is embraced. Never found your way out of my mind. A star in my eye. You're high and so dry. A shiny rock for the collection. A mirage in the distance left so far behind. You can't feel the pain. But turn me into a liar. We used to talk about the future, but now it's here and you're not. Long gone before you could know. It just goes to show. Tell me what it's like to be sane. Come on over. Searching for a deeper connection, and so we will grow until we bloom. Bask in the moonlight and savor the gloom. Becoming Austin. Becoming a mountain. Don't look up. Don't look down. Breathe in fear and breathe in desire. Hold up. Breathe in fear, breathe out desire. It gets harder as you get higher. I will let you light the fire. Just you wait until you're sober. I wish I knew what you meant before it was over. It's not the end, it's just another start over.